what's up, guys? Back for another fucking video here. I want to keep my channel going up. I hit 80 subs, which, you know, to people that's not a big deal. To me, that's a big deal, because, you know, I never really thought about, like, doing stuff like this, and I guess people like what I'm saying. I also have my friends behind me. I appreciate all my friends. Also, I think once we reach 100 subscribers, I'm going to do a giveaway for something crazy. I don't know yet exactly what it's going to be, but I think it'll be cool. I think it'll be something, you know, maybe some foreign cards, maybe a product, something like that. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. But today I'm bringing you a deck profile. I tested all this morning. This deck's kind of wild. Post Rise of the Duelist. I said Rise of Destiny, I think, in my last video. It's the Gren Maju Turbo is what I like to call it, not just Gren Maju. It is going second Gren Maju, which, you know, that's kind of how you play, unless you play the field spell version. I can't remember what it's called, the Stromberg one. I like that build. It's just too slow for me. I know somebody asked me about that in the comments. I do like that build. It's just not the right format for it, in my opinion. Yeah, dude, so let's get right up into it. So, obviously, 3 Gren Maju. You know, that card is just, that's your win condition. One thing I do want to note about it is, it's not really, like, it is your win con. It's like your, you know, win button or whatever. Especially now, after the new cards came out. But, you can actually win without it. The reason I call this a turbo build is because there's a bunch of dangers. We gained a bunch of momentum for this deck, because I'm talking about the people that play this deck. We gained a bunch of momentum for this deck with the Rise of the Duelist stuff. And then I think this is the only hand trap I play. It's the 3-dimension shifter. This is the card that, like, a lot of decks can play this, but, like, sometimes this can be a win condition, like if they don't have Called by the Grave or their deck's not built for it, you know, something like that. It just basically puts you into the next turn, which even if you, they make you go first, or you lose the die roll and they know you're playing somehow, like if you're at a tournament or whatever. I can't wait till we get fucking regionals and shit back. But, you know, they'll fucking make you go first, and that card just kind of spreads you out to your next turn. So, and then 3 Gizmex. These are the most important cards in the deck. The reason this card's important, it's because, like, once you get 1 in play, you know, you're golden, dude. Like, this is like your fucking guy. He's level 8. He can make the BLS link. He just does a whole lot for you, dude. So, I will talk a little bit about this deck at the end of it, just for why I played, you know, the amount of cards I played and stuff. And then 3 Eater of Millions. This card's just absolutely insane. This is kind of like one of your, like, going first options, I would say, because, like, you can just spam, you can just slap it on the board, dude. Like, I know they can Dark Ruler you or whatever and fucking whatever, but this card, surprisingly, like, if they make you go first, obviously, one thing I do want to note is if you side deck with this deck and, like, you lose or you win and you side deck for going second or first, I think the win ratio is probably about 90%, because you play you can go first or second with this deck, but depending on what they're playing and how you side, it's kind of a blowout sometimes, especially with the current meta, a lot of the stuff. And then I want to get into the not turbo, but the danger part is just probably my favorite part. 3 Bigfoot, 3 Thunderbird, and then 1 of each of the boys, Sneck, Nessie, and Jackalope. So the 9 danger engine, I was gonna test. I actually was testing. I was gonna play more than 9, is because, like, we did the math, and, like, the way things come out or whatever, and the amount of cards I'm playing, the math is spot on for how you're doing it, like withdrawing cards, and you know what I mean. So plus resolving stuff, and then you always want to go second. So you know, if it's your choice, or if you lose the die roll, 1 Panker Tops, card's insane. One thing I do want to note too, I do play 1 Orcus Nightmare. So I want to talk about this card for a minute. The reason this card's insane, in my opinion, if you draw it, you know, obviously the dangers can tutor it out of your hand, whatever. You can discard it with Forbidden Droplet, you know what I mean, anything like that. It gets you another Gizmek. And another main focus on this card that I wanted to play 1 of, because obviously it's hard once per turn, but When you banish it, you send Gizmek from your deck, so it's like an extra Foolish Burial for Gizmek. But you can target one of your dangers, and if they don't negate it with Dragoons, because I know everyone's afraid of Dragoons, also in the Golden Lord matchup too, you can get bigger than Golden Lord when he gets 35, and Dragoons as well, off the negate and stuff. So, because your dudes are huge. And then I want to get to the spell part. Obviously, the key card is the Auto Desires, dude. I don't think I have to say anything more about this. It banishes 10 for cost. You don't even need to draw the 2. You just fucking play it. But paint out here, babe. The reason I think this deck became a little bit more insane is the triple tactical talents. So the reason these two, in my opinion, work so well together is because, like, you know, this banishes 10 for cost, right? Which is what you need for the Gren Maju. You don't care about the draw 2. I mean, the draw 2 is insane. But even if they ash this is a follow-up, and if they went first, you know, which you would like to go second all the time, this will snatch a dude, this will draw 2 more cards, because you turbo through this deck. There's a lot of hard non-once-per-turn cards in this deck, like the Dangers. I do play Trade and Allure, so there's that. And then the last new card out of Rise of the Duelist was 3 Forbidden Droplet. I think this is like the... like, this discarding Dangers is just like, you know, it's just the, you know, or discard Gizmek, discard the, you know, the Orcus Nightmare, anything like that. And then, obviously, since you're going second deck, you're playing, you know, 3 Lightning Storm. I know this deck is, you know, not budget any way, shape, or form. I just wanted to kind of bring clarity to this deck, just because, like, it's not, people aren't paying attention to it because we got these new cards make this deck so much more insane. But like the Lightning Storm card too, like, you don't even have to resolve it. That's why I don't play like you know, you want to Gizmek too in your end phase if they're in their end phase, if you don't, you know, draw the Lightning Storm. If you had the Lightning Storm, you probably won't Gizmek for 8. Maybe you will, depending on the matchup and the board state, game state. But so there's that. And then 3 trade-ins. I play I think, what was it, 9 level 8s, I want to say. This is kind of one of my older builds. It's on the channel. We just got more of the the new cards that are just the spy. They just take this deck to an entirely new level. And then again, you know, 3 Allure of Darkness, just more draw power, not hard once per turn. One thing I do want to talk about too is 3 Super Poly. This card is just like, this card's insane for this deck, and obviously you can clear boards. This card's great going first and second. You can set it, discard a Danger, do whatever. You know what I mean? So also it hurts the Dragoons engine entirely. Also, it gets rid of the Boral Savage and stuff like that, because, you know, you darks or whatever, and then, like, you know, it's just, it's not played right now, but this deck kind of plays it perfectly, kind of like Dimension Shifter. It's like one of those things. And then the last card is the 1 Foolish Burial, dude. So you play 5 Gizmeks, the 1 Orcus Nightmare, the 3 Gizmeks, and then the Foolish Burial. So I play, I think this is 45 cards, 44 cards, something like that. But once I did the math or whatever, if you're in a grind game, because that sometimes can happen, also you're doing math on your turn every time it's your turn. Even if you just go second, you have to do math every single time, you know, just to spot on cards and make sure that the damage goes through and it's correct damage and everything like that. And then for the Link monsters, I play one of the Relinquished Link 1s. This with fucking, what's his tits? Jesus Christ. Eater of Millions. I don't know why I couldn't remember that card's name. Yeah, Eater of Millions makes this, you know what I mean? Plus it banishes X amount of cards from your extra deck. And then when they make you go first, you want to play the 1 IP. This can make Unicorn discard a Danger, so you get the 2 pop or the 2, you know what I mean, 2 spin, whatever you want to say. And then for the Nightmares, I just play the Unicorn. This is for going second, or for the IP. This is just kind of, you know, spot removal. And then this card's one of the more important cards in the extra deck. I do want to state that. it's kind of one of your favorite cards. Has been one of my favorite cards. If you play this list, I would encourage you to test this list, even if it's on, Dueling Book, Dueling Nexus, anything like that. Because like you do that, discard a danger, it's double pop, whatever, you're fine. Excuse me. And then this card, the BLS Link Monster. I know this card's expensive too. It didn't get the reprint, unfortunately. I was actually kind of looking forward to the reprint because I want to have more of these, so I want to keep swapping, copies in between decks and stuff. But that card's just insane in this deck. So, and then for the Link 4s, you can stay down here, but I want to talk about these cards as you look at them. So the Boral Sword, everyone knows what this card does. I'm actually going to talk about this in a moment. Obviously, the access code does the the link climb with anything the Phoenix, discard, whatever pops, can't respond it to. And then this is your 4th Gren Maju. Basically, if all else fails or you banish all your Gren Majus off of Desires or Gizmek or whatever, you can always make this, and this guy's just huge as piss. Plus the errata on this card just made it just really good. And then the reason I want to talk about this is for the Exceeds. I do play multiple Exceed monsters, but if anyone's familiar with Orchist, you can do this combo where you get rid of a card with this because you hard make this. I'm not playing Galatea, even though technically you could make Galatea because you play the one Nightmare, but it's something I just didn't choose to play anyways. But anyone that knows Orchis knows that this and this is just game. You smack, turn this defense, smack, you know what I mean. So, yeah, so there's that. And then the other, I played 2 more rank 8s. This card, I think this is number 60, 68. This card's kind of like Dweller, gains 100 attack for each monster in the graveyards, and then you can detach from it, and then during your opponent's till the end of the next turn, they can't special monsters from the graveyard. So it kind of helps in like the rogue matchup, the stuff like that, or maybe even like block dragon, outlich, stuff like that. But this card's really insane. Also, it's dark. Just to note, even if you use the Orcus Nightmare, a lot of the dark summons, the only thing, I think everything in this deck is dark except for the Gren Maju. Obviously, Orcus Nightmare doesn't hinder your normal summon, so there's that. And then one of the Reapers, if this card has XYZ material, it can attack directly. Also, if it attacks directly, it can pop a face-up monster, and then you can detach one to negate a monster spell or trap effect, not destroy, just negate it. So there's that. And then the 2 Super Poly targets, 1 Starving Venom, and one of the Earth Golem Adignister. These cards are insane. I want to play more Super Poly targets. It's just kind of like the meta right now is just, I feel like once they resolve Dragoons, like if they Predaplant Dragoons, like, this deck's technically Rogue, so if they resolve the Predaplant Dragoons or whatever, you can try and play through stuff, or you can just Super Poly the Dragoons and the Predaplant and then continue, but it's kind of free stuff, like, can you imagine them like Predaplant Dragoons set a back row, and you Super Poly those 2, discarding Thunderbird off the back row. Like, the deck's kind of wild right now. It's very good against most things. By most things, I mean like 90% of the meta. Obviously, Dinosaurs is one of my favorite decks. This deck is actually pretty good against Dinosaurs. The only problem is you have to draw like Droplet against Dinosaurs, or just so they don't, once you start summoning a bunch of guys, they don't just flip them all face down. Another reason is the side deck too. Like, you can, the one thing I want to talk about the most, I didn't have space in the main, but you can, in this deck, you can play Ghost Reaper Cherries and just hit Dragoon, or you can, hit Needle Fiber. This is like a free extra deck, essentially. You don't even have to play Super Poly if you don't want to. You can totally just, play the Ghost Reaper instead, hope they don't have Called by the Grave or something like that. But, yeah, dudes, so, I appreciate you guys for watching. Let's get up to 100 subscribers, guys. Dude, I'll give a fucking saucy giveaway, dude. Saucy? And, yeah, dude, for sure. Like, comment, subscribe. Cheers.